Hello, lovelies. Good afternoon. So I have about 25 minutes to talk with you a little bit about a part 2 to a live that I did the other day about Jasmine Brown. I believe her Instagram handle is WatchJazzy, at WatchJazzy. And it was all about the viral clips that are going around with the interview that she did with Shan Boody, or Shan Boodram, okay, on her podcast, Lovers and Friends. And so I have had a chance to listen to that entire episode. I did a live video the other day based on those 3 clips. So based on those 3 short clips that I heard, I did a live video with my response on what does a submissive woman do. So if you have not watched that, I want you to go to my timeline and I want you to check out that video. And I had a follower say to me, okay, and that was an interesting twist on those clips because I was curious to know your feedback, but I want you to listen to the entire episode so you can get more context about those 3 clips, which is always a good idea to do. So that's what I did. I went into Apple iTunes and I clicked on Shan Boodram's, Lovers and Friends podcast, which I had never heard of it. And I found that episode and I listened to the entire episode. So with that being said, now I have a little more context. And there were some disturbing things. There were some disturbing things in that episode that definitely, gave me pause. They gave me pause as a dating and relationship coach. They definitely gave me pause as a therapist. So I took a couple of notes. So we're going to talk about some of those things. And thank you so much for joining me. Let me know your first name and where you are joining me from. Okay, so put your first name and where you're joining me from. All right. So many things to unpack. So I did a little bit of research and found out that Jasmine Brown is dating Cam Newton. And if you are subscribed to my YouTube channel or you've seen the videos that I've done on YouTube about Cam Newton, you will know what my thoughts and feelings are about him. So that was the first huge red flag in my mind, that this is the man that you're dating, okay? And you're doing all of this spoiling for. This is the man that you are, spoiling rotten and submitting to and that you're dating. So you're not married to him. You're not engaged to him. You're dating him. Okay, so that's a huge red flag. If you know anything about me and anything about how I feel about Cam Newton, then head on over to YouTube. Head to the YouTube channel and subscribe and check out those videos with the interview that he did with Brittany Renner. So those are my thoughts on Cam Newton. So that's the first red flag. Is after I discovered that it's Cam Newton that she's talking about. I was like, this is not going good. Okay. Here's some other things that I discovered from this podcast episode. So yes, there is some trauma there. There's some trauma in her background. There's some sexual trauma and some trauma regarding a much older man that she dated when she was 15. And so I'm like, okay, now it's, the story's coming out. Now some things are beginning to make sense. But there's some trauma there in her background and maybe a little bit of codependency because some of the things that she's describing do sound incredibly codependent. So, my previous response was all about, well, I believe that if you have a really great man and if that man is healthy and he's masculine and he's loving and all of your needs are getting met, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem doing any of the things that she's talking about. Now, I'm not going to scratch her back to sleep. There were some things that she talked about that, I'm probably not going to do because I think it's just going above and beyond. Remember, when we are the feminine, we are in the receptive role. And I talked about in my other video about we don't compete with men. We don't overgive and overdo. We're not in competition with men as doers. I am the receiver as the feminine woman. So I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to prove my worth and value to you. I don't need to do anything to prove my worth and value to you as a feminine woman. So this is me talking as a feminine woman. Sarah in Finland, hello. Okay, Rain in Atlanta, hi. Thank you for joining me. Please leave your name and where you're joining us from. Thank you so much. So that, like I said, based on who she's dating, some of the things she was talking about to me were just going a little bit overboard. Again, to me, it said mothering, right? And I don't want to mother my healthy masculine man. I'm not interested in that. That to me is a little bit dysfunctional. We're not mothering grown men. We're not nurturing grown men. And I get a lot of pushback about that. We are not nurturing grown men. We are encouraging. We are loving. We are caring, we're doing things, but we're not nurturing. We're not taking care of something that can't take care of itself. And a grown man can not only take care of itself, he can take care of me. That's my expectation. My expectation is that the man will also take care of me, right? And then I also talked about the importance of giving back, that we are not initiating all of the giving and the doing. We are giving back. Men are initiating and we are reciprocating. So that's an important piece too. Now, if she's, leading all of this in the relationship, if she's the giver and the doer, she's in the masculine role. And again, she looks beautiful. She looks feminine. And people assume that because a woman is sexy and looks beautiful, that, oh, she's feminine. No, feminine is deep inside of you. It's a mindset shift. It's an energy. It is not just how a woman looks. Oh, she's beautiful. She's sexy. She has a beautiful body. She must be feminine. No, she's not. And if she's leading those behaviors, if she's the one that's initiating all the time, she's not the feminine. She is quite the masculine. And Cam is the feminine. And I've always said that. I've always said that in my mind, Cam wants to ride the fence. He wants to be masculine when he feels like it, and he wants to be feminine when he feels like it. And those type of people are narcissistic in my mind. They don't want to stay on one side of the fence or the other. They want both sides. So anytime a man needs to be a 10 and wants you to be a 0, that's a narcissist in my mind. That's what that is. So he has to take his God-given role on his side of the fence, and I'm going to take my role on my side of the fence. And you're not going to get to ride in the middle. You're not going to have both feet on both sides. No, you're going to be on your side and I'm going to be on my side. And if a man should ever choose that he wants to be on the feminine side, then he's not the man for me. I need to go off and find a masculine man. So, hello, sweet lady love. Hi, how are you? So here's another huge red flag from the entire interview. So Shan Boody is, to me, a classic dyed-in-the-wool feminist. So I know that inside she was screaming, she was dying inside with this interview. I could see it written on her face. I could tell, even in her voice, even in the questions that she asked, she is a dyed-in-the-wool feminist. So the idea of any of this is just horrifying to her. And she talked at length about egalitarianism and her relationships egalitarian, and it must be equal, and we are equals, and everything must be equal. That's the side of the fence that she's on. She does not believe in traditional gender roles. She believes that her and her partner are giving and receiving equally. She has been accused of having transactional relationships. She is very much feminist. So this was an interesting dialogue because they were basically taking two kind of polarized positions. So that was really interesting. Here's another thing I thought was interesting. She made mention, so, this episode is going to go from G-rated to R-rated very quickly. She made mention of doing a sexual act for this man that she doesn't even enjoy, that she doesn't like, that she doesn't enjoy, that she finds painful, but she does it for him. She does it because, he wants it, or he wants to take it, and so just the fact that she's surrendering to that level of assertiveness, that, okay, I don't really like it. I find it painful, but I'm going to do it for him. That is where she lost me. That is where she lost me. That is when this whole thing went from, being submissive as she claims, which I still don't say it's complete submissive, but anyway, it's an energy. Submissive is not the doing, it's an energy, it's a mindset shift. But she lost me there. It became very dysfunctional very quickly. I am not, and let me just repeat this loud and proud. I am not going to let a man do anything to me sexually or otherwise that is painful, that I don't enjoy, that I don't like. Like, I'm not. Because a part of me being very deeply entrenched in my feminine is I love myself. I absolutely love myself. And I believe in my worth and value. I love and respect myself. So no, I'm not going to do something for a man, even a man that's my husband. Let me go here. Even if that man is my husband, even if that man is a good, healthy, masculine man. But that to me is what makes him good and healthy, is that he's going to say, is this something you enjoy? And if I say, no, I don't. I find this to be very painful. I don't enjoy this. But, and this idea of, oh, I'm going to do it for you. No, a healthy man does not want that. I don't want that. I wouldn't want a man to perform a sex act that he finds painful or that he doesn't like, that isn't a turn on to him, that, I'm a healthy person. Like, no. The fact that you don't like it and don't want it and you find it painful, I've lost my ability to derive pleasure from it. So, no, healthy people don't want that. And this idea of, well, people have said to me, oh, you're enabling him. Oh, you're spoiling him. You're enabling him. And oh, I said something to him about it because I felt a way. I feel like that's so interesting. Whenever someone tells me they had a visceral knee-jerk response to something, and then that gets explained away by him saying, well, of course they're going to say that because they're not getting that. Of course they're going to, they're going to have something bad to say about it. Of course they're going to, try to talk you out of it because they're not getting that. Of course. And of course the person who's getting that would say that. Like, of course they're going to try to, encourage you to continue the behavior that benefits them. Like, that makes sense to me. The person who's getting this behavior that could be enabling, that could be lopsided, of course they're going to, if you go to them and say, hey, people are saying that I might be doing too much. That's like women coming to me and saying, yeah, I talked to my man about abstaining from having sex because we're not married. And, I feel bad about that. Or, I feel bad about having casual sex. Yeah, of course men are going to talk you out of that. It benefits them for you to sleep with them. Like that makes common sense. So, of course, if you went back to your boyfriend and said, yeah, Anita says I should abstain until I'm married. Oh, no, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy talk. Why would she say that? Oh, that's so wrong. She's just saying that because she's not getting any sex. Of course, the person who benefits from that is going to tell you that. Like, okay, so yeah, that didn't make sense to me. But she lost me with that. And then she also lost me with, this is when I knew that it was dysfunctional. This is when the whole episode became dysfunctional. I love people. My love heals people. I love people back to health and to healing. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because even two healthy, whole people coming together and loving each other does not a healthy relationship make. Because love is not enough. Love is not the only thing you need to have, a healthy relationship. How many times are we going to say this? Both people must do the work. Both people must learn the skills and the tools necessary to have a healthy, loving relationship. Both people must show up and make effort. Both people, it's going to take both people doing that. So this idea that my love heals people, no, that's dysfunctional. That's a dysfunctional, toxic way of thinking. And how many women out there have said something similar? Yeah, I know he's a messed up guy. I know he has problems, but you know what? My love will heal him. No, it won't. Guess what's going to happen? Can I give you this, little factoid? What's going to happen is their dysfunction is going to destroy you. Your love is not going to heal them. Their dysfunction is going to destroy you. that's probably what's going to happen. So yeah, these little things that I heard were kind of like, I wrote notes and I came back to them and I really pondered over them. I really thought about them. And I said, yeah, this is not mired in a healthy form of submission. This is not mired in a healthy form of love. This is mired in, I've got some trauma. I've got some stuff in my background. I've been hurt. This is mired in some dysfunctional thinking because no, doing sex acts that are painful, all in the name of, well, he wants it. He likes it and he wants it. So no. Okay. Miss Yona Love says waste of time and broken heart and mental issues. These things are your parting gift. Yep. Yeah. So we got to be careful when we're looking at interviews like this, or when we're just dealing with influencers, period, people online. You got to be really careful. You got to get full context about, and it's so interesting now that I've listened to the whole podcast episode. I'm like, wow, those viral clips were really they were painting a different picture. And now that I've looked at, or listened to, I should say, the whole episode, yeah, now I can see things very clearly. There's some wounding there. There's some wounding. There's some very wounded beliefs. My love can heal people. Okay. Like I said, our love is wonderful. It's powerful. And here's the thing. Here's the truth. You want to know the true statement? God's love heals people. And even then, they have a choice whether they want to receive it or not. Not human love, God's love. God's love heals people. But human love, no. We're not even, believe it or not, we're not even built that way. We love people to the best of our ability, but we don't even come close to what love really is. So that was odd to me. That was really odd. And I don't know if her and Cam are official, if he's claimed her. I know they were seen out at the Kentucky Derby. That was kind of a public moment. Outside of that, I don't know what else it is, or, I don't know. And so we'll see, but there's some codependency there. There's some codependency behind those statements and some of the things that happen. And like I said, the biggest red flag was participating in the sex act that you don't like, that you don't find a turn on, and that you find painful. And yet you're going to do that for the other person. Like, healthy people don't do that. Healthy people don't do that. Sorry, they don't. They stand up for themselves and they say, yes, I'd love to be with you. I'd love to, come together and experience pleasure with you. However, that must be pleasurable for the both of us. Like, I'm not going to do anything within this that's going to be painful for me just because you like it. Like, no. So here's what I boiled all of this down to. I think she is using the term submissive in the worldly sense. So not in the biblical sense. She's using it in terms of the worldly sense, which is like in the sexual, like when we're talking about sexual masochism and sexual sadism, that's how she's using it. She's using it in the sense of submissive and dominant. So that's how she's using it. So she gets a kick out of being the submissive, and she's using it in that worldly sense. That, yes, I like doing everything for a man, and even things that I don't want to do, even things that are painful to me, I'll do it. It's almost like I like being degraded, right? I like being degraded. And Shan Boody actually said that she had a little bit of that. I kind of like being degraded. I kind of like, a more assertive, sexual partner. I kind of like that. So that's what I think she was talking about. I don't want you ladies to get confused and think that she was using submission in terms of the biblical sense of submission. Because no, the Bible says we're not submitting to a man that's not our husband. We are not doing things that harm ourselves. We're not doing codependent things. Like, no. And it's really an energy. It's not what you do per se. It's who you are, right? It's the energy you bring to the relationship. It's the ability to be guided and directed. It's a humble spirit. That's really what it is. So it's not about the packing and the unpacking of the bag and the cooking and the cleaning and all of that and the 8 count. It's not about that. It's really the spirit of a person. I consider myself to be a submissive woman. But I embody the spirit. And isn't it interesting that I don't do a lot? I don't knock myself out to win over a man. I don't do a lot in dating relationships. I don't do a lot, in the relationships that I'm in. But I consider myself biblically submissive. I can be led. I am humble in my spirit. I have a meek spirit. I can listen. I'm high in openness, like things of that nature. So it's not just what a woman is doing. And that's why I know it was more of like a worldly type of, I want to be submitted in the bed. I want to be submitted, I want to submit to a man in the bedroom. Like that's, I want to do things. I want him to do things to me that I don't even like, that I don't even want. Like, that's not the biblical version. So I just wanted to clarify that. Now that I've had a chance to listen to that entire interview, I just wanted to clarify that. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Cherry Girl says, are these people you're talking about married? No, they're not. They are simply dating each other. And right now it's not even like official, like Instagram or Facebook official, or, this is my woman official, YouTube official. No, they're just dating each other. They've been dating each other. So yeah, that's the first sign. The second sign is who she's dating. The third sign is the trauma, the past trauma. The fourth sign is participating in sex acts that we don't even like or don't want to do or are painful. That's not it. Well, it's what's sexually submissive. That's what I would call a worldly submission. So yes, the world has a totally different definition when we're thinking about submissive and dominant, right? So when we're thinking submissive and dominant, like in terms of sex play, that's totally different than what they were talking about. So I just wanted to clarify that. I wanted to make this video and kind of clarify that. So if you have not watched the first video, and that video was all about, yes, should a woman, do things that please her husband? Of course. I would never have any problems with that, especially if he is good and healthy and whole and masculine and, handling his business. I have no problem doing anything, for my husband that is not going to hurt me or be painful to me. I have no problem. Yeah, no problem. I'm going to give back. That's what feminine women do. We give back. We reciprocate to good men. So yes, I don't have a problem with that. But I think initially the clip triggered a lot of women because they don't know a man. They've never been with a man, and they don't know a man that they would ever want to do that for. So I talked about that too, that a lot of women are triggered by this because you've never experienced that kind of love. You've never experienced that kind of relationship. I have experienced that kind of relationship. So that doesn't trigger me. A woman talking about cooking for a man or cleaning or packing his bag or unpacking his bag, like none of that triggers me. Those are all things I've done as a wife. So getting the dry cleaning, massages, like none of these things like trigger me because I'm like, yeah, I've had a husband, a provider husband, and I've done all of those things. So, okay, like I don't have a problem with any of that. But as I dove deeper into that episode, as I listened to more of that episode, that's when the truth came out, that there are some huge red flags in this whole situation. I'm going to encourage you also to go and check out the entire episode because you need context, especially online. A lot of us don't get the full picture. And then we're like, oh, okay, now I see what it really is. So you're seeing this much and instead of seeing all of this. And now you can kind of see, okay, well, now I see why she's saying what she's saying because there's some brokenness there. There's some woundedness. There's some dysfunction there and some beliefs that are dysfunctional. And so, yeah, I see why this person is saying this. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today on the live. Have a wonderful rest of your July 4th weekend. And as always, stay open to love.